Hello everyone, this is video 1 of Unit 3. We cover a lot of ground in this unit, so I'm going to remind everyone about what our learning objectives are. First, to attain skills that enable you to craft budgets of increasing complexity, to gain experience in grants and contract budget development and tracking, use benefits theory to assess your financial management planning assumptions, and use the third briefing memo to share how you might use cost benefit as a tool in budget management. In Idelson, you'll have read required chapters on contracts and grants transactions, measuring financial performance and planning, and budgets and strategy. This corresponds to chapters 12, 16, and 19. There are supplemental readings, chapters 8 to 11, but really chapter 12, I believe, is the best template. And I want you to look at chapters 8 to 11, but I'm not going to hold you accountable for them. Unit 3 shares an approach that I use for budget development, budget management in real time, budget performance and analysis, and communication of budget to others, such as board members, grant makers, project staff, and in proposals, memorandum of understanding, and contracts that I initiate with third parties, and the like. Nonprofits engage in grant and contract activity. They have many reasons to. Among them are that forming a relationship with an outside party provides a way to fulfill your mission. The act of forming a contract, entering into a grant project or contract with a public sector actor, for example, or forming a collaboration or a partnership with a business announces the value and quality of your organization. The funding also offers a way to attract and retain high-performing staff people and to offset the costs of your operations through indirect charges you incur or you include in grants, which also are a bit of generating sustaining revenues for your organization. So grant and contract work may be conceived of as earned revenue, and it requires an exchange of some sort. And this concept of exchange or reciprocity is part of the larger ethos of nonprofit sector institutions. It's a way for nonprofits to make the case to other sectors excuse me, of the economy that they supplement and complement them rather than compete with them. I've written about these relationships elsewhere, but the reason to point it out here is that advancing a nonprofit institution through grants and contracts and philanthropy depends on reputation and trust. So Idelson addresses all of these categories of revenue types in the chapters I've noted. For now, we're going to focus on grants and contracts, and we'll discuss philanthropy in Unit 5. So to begin, grant and contract work is frequently made available through calls for participation, such as requests for proposals or a special invitation from a party outside the nonprofit. They may be public sector funding opportunities for social change or innovation grant opportunities. There's all sorts of categories. The more experienced organizations will weigh the costs and benefits of these responding to these notices and requests for proposals. In my view, the benefits must be evident. They have to be obtainable with the existing structure of your organization and clearly prominent in your decision making to incur the costs of responding. Is it worth it for us to pursue this opportunity? In my experience, there are costs of responding to a request beginning the moment the organization commits any time at all to considering and then formalizing a proposal. These include the direct costs and the indirect costs of opportunity to an organization, which they may forego because they're distracted and limited in time, and they have to vet the idea. In other words, there's a lot of internal organizing that goes on, and that costs money, uncompensated, by the way. Costs required by the time and salary contribute to the effort by the organization while preparing the response, or ever more direct costs in the form of paid consultants who may be tapped to participate in crafting the response. Contracts require even greater commitment, frequently uncompensated by the nonprofit to set the conditions of successful contract and performance outcomes. I've written about this too extensively, and the uncompensated costs are typically borne by the nonprofit, which is one of its legitimate cost items. One of my takeaways in reading Idelson's Chapter 12 is that the financial forms tracking revenue sources bring order to all of the income transactions. Some are cash in their origin, some are accrued over time, some are at the project inception, some during the project performance, and some at the project completion. Grants can be either cash, in which case an organization receives a single payment, or regular scheduled payments to start and complete a project or program, or a pay for performance payout, in which expenses are reimbursed after various activities and outputs have taken place. So this is what I mean by accrual, this last bit. So just to review, that there are a lot of concepts being juggled here, and I'm once again making you aware that we want to keep things as simple as possible. So I'm going to stop here to let you absorb some of the discussion, and we'll pick up in the second video more of the detail. In the meantime, if you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to post them.